Okay. Um, well, we are going to start to get started. I know I have more people signed up, but we will see, but I also know that some people said that they would sign up so that um, they could listen to it later from the beginning. And there we go. And we're going to give everybody a few more minutes to get on. We've got a few more people, and Noelle always helps me take questions, and we're going to try and save them for the end this time. Usually I'm like, oh, just ask questions anytime. But I know I have so much information here. If we get off track, we won't get through it. So, um, yeah, there's a few more people we're expecting, but
All
they're
right.
late, so we're
I
starting.
think, okay. Jump. I think you're great.
Okay. This is AI for Authors, Navigating the New Creative Landscape. And I am Karen Hodges Miller. My company is called Open Door Publications, and I help people write and market and publish their books. I help them write if they're not interested in putting books out to the public. Nilly, since you said that, I do help them with that also. Um, been doing this for a long, long time, and I have been fascinated with AI as it's come about, and it's just it's been a new way of doing things. Kay Brooks is on, and she is one of my AI buddies. We're always talking AI with the group she and I are both in. And in fact, she is one of the interviews in my book. But I am going to actually get started. And now I just went the wrong way, or I went too far. Oh, maybe I think I'm going too far. Uh, okay, so what I need is, yeah, major assistance with everything, apparently. Okay, um, AI. The first thing I think that a lot of people have the idea of, and if you remember when you first started hearing about AI 2 or 3 years ago, everyone was saying it was going to replace the whole world, and none of us would have a job. And what I'm finding is it's really not about replacing writers; it's about working smarter. Um, and since I don't have too many people here, I'm just going to say, raise your hands if you've seen the write a book in a weekend and earn thousand scams. Yeah. Okay. I have. Um, yeah. If the rest of you haven't, you're not on social media very often, but that is a scam. I don't know anyone who has written a book in a weekend, put it on Amazon, and made thousands. In fact, there are a lot of downsides of Amazon weeding those books out, taking them down, closing people's sites, not letting them back on. Oh, well, I thought I had to sneeze, but it went away. So if you see where you're going to write a book in a weekend, just ignore it. That's not good use of AI. So, if you are already published, you're familiar with Amazon and Ingram Spark, and they are now asking when you upload a book, they're asking if you've used AI, what AI you've used, how you've used it, if you've used it on your cover, if you've used it in research. Um, they both swear that they are not penalizing anyone who uses it. Um, I would tell you it is better to say yes if you have than to say no. If you have used it and you say no and they find out, you are in much bigger trouble. So tell them yes. And the other thing I'm amazed at when I talk to people who are not familiar with AI is if they're on the internet at all, they think they're not using it. If you have something called Grammarly, which is a grammar checker, helps you make sure that you're not misspelling words or using your commas wrong, you're using AI. If you are searching on the internet, if you're using Chrome, if you're using the Microsoft internet, AI is now instantly part of the search. So you are probably using AI whether you think it or not. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it just gives you stuff that you really don't need, but that's no different than the internet ever was. So you know that you are using it more than you realize. The one thing, if you walk away with nothing from this meeting, I want you to know that if you use AI, you have to fact check everything. AI is not perfect; it makes mistakes. And one of the authors I work with has the best story I know. He writes a biography. He's currently writing about a figure from the Gilded Age. And he had done some research and found out about a particular social event that occurred, and that his um, person he's writing about was at, and he wanted to research whether or not there were any similar events in the same time period. And so he asked ChatGPT, which is probably the best known AI, but not the only one out there. So he asked ChatGPT if there were other events, and it came up with three. And the first two, he checked them out, no problem. The third one, he could not find it listed anywhere. Um, so he went back to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, "Oh, you're right. I made that up." So, um, Nilly, you particularly mentioned that you are going to be doing something that is going to require historical research. So, yes, just definitely check everything. It's a great place to start, but it's not the last place you should be. It's only the first. The other thing to remember is AI is a tool. It's a tool like any other. You are in charge of how you use the tool. You get to tell it no. You get to ask it more questions. If you ask your chatbot something and you don't like the answer or you feel like you need more, ask it again and again and again. And the good thing is when we do that with the people in our lives, they get angry at us. When we do it with our chatbot, it never gets angry or upset. You can ask it 20 questions and to give you more detail, to do something a different way, and it never gets upset. And let's see. Whoops, I keep going too far on my little thing, but AI limitations, hallucinations. I just talked about ChatGPT making um, mistakes, and one of the ways I saw it listed, I thought was really wonderful, that AI gives you false information with confidence. It sounds like it knows exactly what it's talking about. It doesn't always. So just because it's giving you bad information, whether it's good or bad information, because it sounds like it knows it, check it anyway. When you are writing with AI, it can have this generic corporate tone, and that can be good if you are writing a generic corporate business letter. If you want a press release, if you're writing a business letter to someone that you want to get some information from, it can be great. But it just isn't always, it can take your creative writing and make it sound like a business letter, and that is what we don't want. The other thing that we hear about is red flag words, and a few of them are foster, delve, dynamic, and Lily. This is one that you had, the M dash. Lily called me one day and was in a panic, saying she had just read that if you use M dashes, it flags you as being AI, and she hadn't used any AI. And I know I use M dashes. I think everyone uses M dashes. Some of us do overuse them. But if you find M dashes being used all over the place, that can be a sign of AI. There is, again, if you find something that sounds really good and has lots of big words, but you realize it hasn't given you much information, that can be a sign of a bad writer, or it can be a sign of AI. I know a lot of human writers who can do that without resorting to AI. So every time I put our pictures of people someplace, the next slide is where I need it. So let's talk about tools and cost, because this is something where you can spend nothing or you can just start spending way too much. And ChatGPT is the most well-known, and you can use ChatGPT for free. I don't think there's any end level. You can go up to $200 a month with all the bells and whistles and add-ons if you're working with a group and that sort of thing. It is the most common. It has a lot of good things. And then there's Claude. And hey, you can get off mute and tell. Kay is the Claude. We joke that Claude's her boyfriend. So tell us about Claude, Kay.
I use Claude a lot. I use the Claude 3.5. I write romantic suspense, mysteries, thrillers, a little bit of thrillers. But I use Claude mainly for brainstorming ideas and things, but also with marketing things. And being an author, you have to market your books as well. And so Claude always has wonderful ideas. Now, I I have used ChatGPT as well, and I use the program Magi, which offers both of them for $29 a month. So I mean, I can use whichever one I want for $29 a month, and as well as other programs. But I do prefer Claude because I guess I just when we first started trying to understand how to use it, they would scare you and say you have to make the prompt right. Well, not necessarily. I just look at Claude as somebody that's my assistant or a friend, and I'll say, hey, and I named him Claude. I said, hey, Claude, I need to work on this project today. I need some ideas on some Instagram posts. And he'll come back with all kinds of things. So as long as you just sort of treat it as a person and just get yourself out there, he gets to know you. He understands what you're looking for. Yes, he will sometimes tell you what you want to hear, but it gives you some information to work with. So I use Claude all the time. So
And Kay mentioned Magi. That's mag.ai. And that's another program that offers you access to several different tools. It would have been cheaper if I'd done that one first, but I was already signed up for other stuff before I heard about Magi. And when I get to the point, when it gets to the time of year that I get to unsubscribe to some of these things, I think I'll switch to Magi because it's a little more cost effective. ChatGPT and Claude are what are called chatbots. They are general AI that you can ask a lot of questions. Um, if you can ask it, as she said, to develop a marketing plan. And I know Kay that with Claude's help had a great week-long marketing plan for a book in her local community that worked out really well for her. You can ask it to plan a vacation. You can ask it for ideas on, anything. Then there's Perplexity. It's a little different. It is a research tool. It is something that will go out and look on the internet for the more academic type of research. Fictionary, Pro Writing Aid, and Grammarly. That is a whole different category. These are writing tools, and Fictionary and Pro Writing Aid are very similar, but have their differences. Fictionary is a tool that offers the developers of Fictionary also offer a lot of hands-on in-person classes, ability to join a group, meet people. They have a rather specific way of looking at a book. I think it's good. I tried to use it, and it asked me so many questions that I just, it just didn't work for me. Pro Writing Aid, I have a client who uses it and really likes it. One of the things, and he is writing satire. One of the things he's found with Pro Writing Aid is that all of these tools are want to make sure that you're not writing something inappropriate. And so it will flag some of the things he's saying satirically as this might offend some people. Well, yeah, but if you're writing satire, that is the point. You want to offend people. So you have to take all of these things and look at what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, and what fits. It's not a problem for it to flag inappropriate things. Just if you are a satirist and this is what you're doing, you've got to realize that you can't get too worried about that. And then Grammarly, I mentioned before. I like Grammarly a lot. There is a free version. I only use the free version. It helps you not make typos, get your commas in the right place, understands the semicolon. I think that if you use it too much, again, it tries to put everything into a specific corporate sounding voice. One of the places I have it turned on, and these people who know me, I don't know if in the last couple of years I've made less typos in my emails or not, but I feel like keeping it turned on with my emails saves me from some really bad typos on my emails. You can put it in, you can attach it to Word. I find that to be a little annoying. But it's something that it is specifically a grammar checker. It's good for what it does. You have to decide how much you want to use it. Then we've got another category, and these are different. Quillbot, Language Tool, and Ginger. These are all for people who need translation. They are great for people who are English as a second language, or who are English and trying to write in French, and French is their second language, and a lot of other. You have to look them up and see what language you are working in and which one is going to be best for the language you're working in. But it does do well for language translation. So those are ones, if you do have that need, definitely look into those. So we're going to go back and talk about some of these a little more. ChatGPT. Best thing about it is brainstorming, editing, and research. I like to use ChatGPT for brainstorming. ChatGPT, I want to write a book about such and such. Let's explore that a little bit. And yes, like Kay said, I talk to it like a human, and we go back and forth. It's great if you can do that with a writing buddy, but sometimes at 1 a.m. when you're awake, your writing buddy would not appreciate if you want to, discuss the ins and outs of some small plot point. And ChatGPT doesn't care. Claude, they talk about it being good for reasoning. Not sure exactly what they mean, but we can think about it in that different ways. And this is why I called my book The Almost Up to Date Guide. Claude, up until about 2 weeks ago, was considered the best for privacy. Suddenly, Claude put up a note to all of its users. They have now said that basically, if you are using Claude, they may be using the Claude developers may be using your stuff to train Claude to be a better robot. So they are no longer the best for privacy. Hey, Henry. We have a new person on. So Perplexity is, again, that is for more scholarly research, structured, technical stuff. I do know one person who uses that. Most of the people that I work with are more general writers and don't use it. And then we have the specialized tools, which we just talked about, story structure, grammar, translation. So Henry is my pro writing aid expert. So Kay just talked to us a little bit about Claude. Do you want to tell us what you like about pro writing aid?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've used Pro Writing Aid for 4 years, and I have just started using its full manuscript critique. I have a lifetime subscription, and it gives me one critique of a full manuscript a year. It will critique short stories forever. And you submit your story, and within moments, you can tell that it has written, it has read what you've written, understands it, and which I find amazing. It is, and it's quite useful. It does everything that the usual, Microsoft Word editing does, but the critique is the most useful, and most of the time, it really understands what you're getting at and what you're trying to do. But everybody understand that the people that develop this are in the United Kingdom. So sometimes the sensibilities are United Kingdom writing sensibilities, not, as I said, not my New Jersey sensibilities. And believe it or not, they're different. Uh, but the responses are very quick and very understandable. What else do you want me to get at, Karen?
I'm going to switch to the next slide, and if we need you, we'll talk to you again. Okay. Everyone who's writing a book knows they need to do more than writing. So there's some other tools that you should look into. Canva and BookBrush for graphics. I'm not a Canva fan. I'm a BookBrush fan. Canva is
Huh.
kind of like the encyclopedia. It does all sorts of graphic things. It can lay out your book. It can create a video. It can do so much. Um, I- I'm I'm overwhelmed by Canva. Um, I don't know why it would just no approve. Okay. Anyway, it is BookBrush is more limited, which works for me. There's there it offers a great wide variety of things that you can do. You can put your own things in it. Um, if you see on Amazon um, these book sets which have a very specific graphic of they're AI books, but they're offered as a set of 3 or 4, and there's a specific graphic that looks like a box with books in it. Um, BookBrush will create that for you. I won't say easily, but I'm also going to tell you that I am not always great with these things. Adobe Firefly and Dolly. These are much more advanced. If you are a graphic artist, and I know writers who are competent and actually, more than competent, advanced with their graphics, um, with their graphic ability. I am not. I don't use Adobe Firefly or Dolly. And I always tell people if I had to create book covers, they would all be black and white stick figures. If you have some sort of understanding of graphics, check those out. They could be great for you. And Pictory AI is for video content. I know someone who uses that and creates fabulous videos. It's becoming a new, if you see book trailers and book advertisements, it's becoming very popular because it's something that you can do. You can make something that doesn't look amateur and not spend all day on it if you're not me. Um, okay, now here's the thing that I think is most important: legal and ethical issues. AI content. If you go onto ChatGPT and ask it to write a book, you cannot get a copyright on it. If you are using your copyright, or if you are using your AI for research, for editing assistance, for brainstorming, your input is substantial. I don't know anyone who's only using AI and taking out the human element. Everyone I know falls into category number 2. They are using it to assist them, not to write for them. So you can get a copyright on that. You really should disclose your AI use on Amazon and KDP. Absolutely. The chances of your getting in trouble by not reporting it are so much greater than your chances of getting in trouble for reporting it. The ethical considerations, that's the training data, and is your AI using your work to train things? That is what a lot of people, much more famous authors than I am, are suing some of these companies because they've used their words to train. And you can ask some of the different AI to write this as if you were F. Scott Fitzgerald. Well, he's dead, he doesn't care, but a lot of living authors do. We want to use AI in a respectful manner to everyone, and we need to make sure that we are keeping our AI safe. Delete your chats. Don't save them around. Go in and make sure that they are not there. And then, of course, the other thing we talked about is it correct? You don't want to be putting out incorrect things. And is it your authentic voice? So those are some of the legal and ethical considerations. Disclosure, best practices, be transparent. Credit your AI like you would credit your human editor. Track your AI versus human contributions. This does not mean that you have to get a log and say, oh, I spent 5 minutes on AI versus thinking about this myself, but have an idea of how much AI you're using. And then there's the anti-AI people. There are authors out there now using it as a marketing strategy. So they're saying, no AI was used in the making of this book. And that can be something that you want to market on. But if you are marketing that way, make sure that there is no AI used. So a few things for you to remember. There are so much out there. I've talked about several different tools. You don't need them all. Pick 2 or 3. Pick either Fictionary or Pro Writing Aid, or pick ChatGPT and Claude, add Grammarly, use the free trials and see what you like, and then move on. Do not try to learn every AI out there. Check AI constantly. Always verify AI output. It makes mistakes. Remember that you are the creative control, not your AI. It can suggest things to you. You don't have to take them up on it. And stay informed. As I said, up until a few weeks ago, Claude had the reputation as the most private AI, and they changed their policies. So stay informed and match your tools to your process. Fictionary and Pro Writing Aid analyze stories in a much more detailed way. They don't talk to you in the same way. You have to decide what you're doing, how you like to work, and which one you would like to use. So, final thoughts. It won't make you a writer, but it can make you a more efficient one. A human creativity and your voice matter the most. So it's a tool. It does not replace humans. It does not replace a human editor. It does not replace a proofreader. It does not replace a graphic artist. It helps them. So, and thank you. I think everyone here, I don't know if some of the people, there were people still on, and I'm not sure if they got off, but that's my Gmail. And this is where you can write the AI for, go to that link and you can get my book. Right now, the ebook is on sale for 99 cents until Monday. I will tell you that I had planned to have it on Shopify, and I thought that I would finish that up in an hour today, and 2 hours later I was still working on it, and I said, this is ridiculous. So someday I will have a Shopify site, and I will be telling you all about that the next time you talk to me. And that is it, and let's ask questions. And what would you like to ask?
I put 2 questions in the chat.
Okay. Hey, Lorette, I didn't see you there before. Long time no see.
I was late, sorry, but I am here.
And yeah, my AI Noelle's AI assistant is talking to us. Is there an advantage to using multiple tools per project, or better to focus on one main tool per project? I think there's an advantage to using more than one. Like I say, I would pick either Chat GPT or Claude because they're very similar. I would pick Fictionary or Pro Writing Aid, but ChatGPT can work well with Fictionary and Pro Writing Aid, and Claude can work very well. They each do different things, look for things in different ways. Even if you are putting a chapter into a book, into an AI website, and you want its opinion on how you've written, each one, ChatGPT and Claude will pick up different things and give you different ideas. So yes, let me go back to, don't try to use everything. You'll just drive yourself mad. And Kay says she loves BookBrush. And do you recommend that each AI tool needs to be listed in AI disclosure? No, I don't think. If you wanted to put something in your book saying, I've used AI, I don't think you have to say specifically what AI you've used. If you are uploading a book to KDP or Ingram, it will ask you, and it will ask, it has a series of questions. Have you used AI? Yes, you get the drop down menu, and it asks you if you've used it for research, editing. It asks you several questions, and then it asks you what tools you have used. According to Amazon and everything I've read, that's kind of more of a marketing survey for them than anything else. So that's all
So right now they're not listing on, like, let's say you're going to buy a book on Amazon. They're not saying, this is 50% generated with AI tools.
No. And I don't think, in this book that I wrote about AI, and I interviewed a couple of my AI assistants. I have an interview with Claude because I thought, who better to ask about AI than to ask the assistant? So I used, to write about each of these things, I had to go in and try free trials and use them and try them out. And so I attempted to use it for the book, and ask it questions that I wanted to know for the book, so that I wasn't just practicing on it, I was getting double duty and something very useful out of it. So yeah, that's that. I trying to remember, I did list some of the things I used. Did I list all of them? No, because I tried to basically open up every AI out there and take a look at it.
Well, you were writing a book
So-
on AI, so I mean, it would, if you didn't use it, it might be suspicious.
Yeah. And then I wouldn't have known anything. So, okay. Other questions? This is a non-question group.
Um, Karen,
Okay.
I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I use AI mainly for brainstorming. I do not use it for my creative writing. I like to save that for myself. A lot of times I do send out a weekly email to my readers, and I usually send it on Monday mornings. It's Monday, and then whatever the subject is. So Sunday nights I'm sort of sometimes putting it together, and I've got some ideas, but I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how do I make this readable? I have kind of run it through. I have made a list of, I'll say, hey, Claude, I need to do my email. This is what I want to talk about. Can you help me clean it up? And he has gotten to know my style so that he can spit out that email in 10 seconds. And I'm thinking, boy, you did it better than I could have, but it makes it readable. It makes it relatable and stuff. And so I think that people need to understand we don't need to be scared of AI because it can help us. We just need to put the limits on it, know how we want to use it. and then just use and abuse it.
It sounds
So,
like you're creating almost like a little library of all of your marketing tools. And so it's like going through everything every time to see, what's matching. So it's just going to get better each, each iteration. That's what it sounds like based on what you're describing.
yeah.
Well, I used, Kay mentioned newsletters. So I was writing a newsletter on the increase in audiobooks in the last few years. And this goes to double checking and how you ask we didn't really talk about how you ask questions, which is a whole other theory. But I put in the question and said, why have audiobooks sold more than ebooks in the past year? And it gave me a wonderful response. It was so beautiful. I could have just taken it and plopped it into my newsletter. Luckily, when I looked at the response and after I got over the fact that it was beautifully written, I realized I'd asked the question wrong. Audiobooks have increased in the past year, but they have not outpaced ebooks or paper books. I asked it a question and it answered me falsely. So, and this is the big thing with ChatGPT. ChatGPT will make it up to make you happy. It's got a reputation and it's well earned. So, yeah, when you are using it that way, yes, as Kay, and I've seen her newsletters, if Kay is writing something about her feelings and it's she puts in 10 or 12 sentences and says turn this into something, that's great. If you're asking it for facts, triple check. So um any other questions? Lorette, you come at this from a very different perspective. Lorette is a business coach. So, how are your people feeling and using AI?
Um, well, that's a good question. I don't know because I'm not doing that much coaching right now, but we all are talking about it. And my husband he writes a lot and he's doing a lot of things and he's using AI and is pretty happy with it. Um, I'm still certainly a neophyte. I do use it to help me with my newsletters. I never ask it to write one. I will ask it to streamline things, to take it from my usual wordy self's writing. Karen knows this because Karen knows everything. To, a word limit kind of thing. And it does that very well. I use ChatGPT mostly. It does that very well. And it has a lots of nice turns of phrases in its vocabulary. So sometimes it comes up with something that, where I'm like, oh, I wish I thought of that myself. That's a pretty good one. And so, I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with asking it to write for me. And I haven't quite mastered the art of having it catch my own voice yet. I'm not quite sure how to do that. And I'm not working that hard at it actually, but that could be really helpful. Yeah, I see Nilly's hand up, just one more thing. But I noticed it today and I hear it all the time. And I have very strong feelings about this. AI tools do not have personalities.
No.
I've thought this about Siri. I've thought this about everybody, everything. He is not my friend. She is not my friend. She can friendly talk. She can sling you a line of baloney. But I just as a general holding on to humanity in the 21st century, I never use personal pronouns for AI. That's just me. I just don't. It is a thing. It is not a friend. So
I think that's the good and the bad. It can feel like
right,
a
very
human,
tempting.
but yeah, it's not. And yeah, okay. And if you do, you want it to sound like you, even if you're just using it for, as I said, for business letters.
Mhm.
And the way you train it, the more you use it, the more it gets to know your voice. The downside of that is, for it to learn your voice, you have to save everything, and then that makes you more susceptible to hacking and having your stuff copied. But it's by looking at it and then saying, no, let's talk about it in a different way. But never use your chatbot one time and take it. Take it, edit it. If you're still are unsure, put it back in and say, have I made any grammar mistakes? This is more my voice. Tell it what you want. Ask it more and more questions, and that's how you get it to start thinking like you. But then the downside is you are less secure. So it's a tool. It's not a perfect one. Yeah, Lily.
Okay, I am not writing yet the story, but English is my second language.
Mhm.
So what I am using Grammarly for a long time already, it was to me a lifesaver. My husband looks at what my output when I send a memo. He said, "I can't believe it's you." I said, "It's not me." Now they also added the AI. So what I do, I let Grammarly fix whatever they can fix, like you said, the punctuation, the grammar, or whatever. And then I go to the AI to see what they will do. And I notice that occasionally they misunderstand what I was trying to say. And they really change what I meant. So
Yes.
I have to be very cautious when I'm
Yes.
using them.
Um, English is a language that is full of homonyms and synonyms and all those things. And so, yeah, it can be very hard. And Lynn, you ask a question. Yes.
Yeah. What is the tool that you said you would switch to if, when it comes time to deleting things? You said there's one tool that you might use
Okay.
to pay for.
It's Magi, MAG.ai.
Okay.
It is a tool. It's a website that offers you for I think it's 29. Hey, you said $29 a month right now?
Yes.
It offers you access to several things, like ChatGPT offers you access to Dolly and a few other things. Magi offers you access to a lot more. So for $29 a month, if you're a novice, I would certainly consider that, because then you can get in and you can try several of these things and say, yes, this one's really good. No, I don't want that one, and see what really works for you. I'm not sure that all of the, excuse me, all of the uh, chat, the different sites that they offer are the full on absolute, I'm sure they're not, it's like, they might have some more limited versions, or you have to pay more on Magi to get the higher versions. But yeah, if I were starting and hadn't already paid a certain amount of money for the year, I would start with Magi, because you can then test out some of these other things.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Okay. What else?
Karen, can you just give everyone a little bit of an update on some stuff that you've been working on and what they can expect to see from you over the next few months?
Okay, well, one of the things, once I finished this book, and those of you who know me know that I'm always doing 5 projects at once. I am starting to research on how to sell without Amazon, for various reasons. I just started my Shopify shop, which, as I said, I did not get up and running. Well, 2 ebook bundles are on it, but the AI book is not on it because I started it this morning and thought I could do it. But there's many reasons to try to sell your book other places than Amazon. And I am working on researching all of those ways. That's going to be one of my next projects. Then in my double life where I am Lee K. Rogers and I write paranormal romance, I am working on my 4th book there. And I am probably going to put that out with a Kickstarter, which is one of the reasons I'm researching about how to sell without AI, without Amazon. And then what I do when when I'm not doing those things, I help people edit their books and get them up on Amazon and figure out the best ways to market them. And several people here have used me. Lily and Henry have used me for that. And yeah, and let me get and Lorette, and let me get a plug for
And
Lisa,
Noelle.
who has done my website for years and years, and Lorette, who was my first business coach, and I wouldn't still be in business if not for her. So, any other thoughts, questions, anything else? And
Karen, I got a question. Do you use AI? Like you write different genres of books. Do you use AI for all of your genres?
I write I write a lot of nonfiction, and then I've been writing the paranormal romance. Um, and then I've been editing books in a lot of everything from kids' books to biography, history, and I have looked at using AI to edit other people's books, and I find that doesn't save me any time. I will sometimes, when I'm writing in any genre or when I am editing a book and I can't, it's like I know there's a better turn of phrase than what I can come up with or what the author came, and I will go into Chat GPT and say, what's a better way to say this? And they usually come up with 4 or 5, and a lot quicker than my going to thesaurus. It's like, yeah, I could use thesaurus for that. But thesaurus isn't as quick. Thesaurus will give you for a word, and sometimes, like I say, if I'm looking for a word, yeah, I'll just check my thesaurus. But if I'm looking for a new turn of phrase, I will check with AI and see if they can come up with something. And to do that, I have to give them the context. Well, this is a book for children. This is a book set in the 1850s. You have to give it the parameters so it comes up with something that is suitable. And I find it good for just coming up with little phrases quickly. I find it really useful for research. And if you think you don't research fiction, you haven't written it. All fiction needs to be researched. And so I think it can bring up sites for me and suggest different places for me to look more quickly than I could. It used to be I would go on Google and I would type in and then start looking. Now I tend to go just straight to Chat GPT, type in my question, and then pick 3 or 4 websites to look at that it has suggested. And I find it more efficient than not going through that step. So it helps. So other
Awesome.
questions? I think we're about done. If you want to ask me anything about AI, if you want to ask me about editing, Nilly, if you want to ask me some questions about researching, that kind of thing, just shoot me an email. It's khmiller10@gmail.com.
You're going too fast. Is it on do I have it on the emails that you sent me?
Yeah, and we'll do a follow-up email with the recording. And Karen, if you want to put some of the details to like the book and to your contact information stuff, you can put it in there.
Yeah,
I would
basically,
definitely
I
do
would
that.
like to talk to you because you just touched on something when you said the paranormal. Well,
Mhm.
that's what helped me in the search. I mean,
Yes.
channeling and giving me messages
Yes.
in my head and stuff like that. So I definitely need to talk to you.
Okay.
So,
And I will definitely talk to you about ancestry.com, which in my spare time I have worked a lot with, and I'm sure that you are very familiar with it, with what you're doing.
okay. So
So,
I'm going to maybe shoot you an email with my telephone number. I am in Florida. I don't know what time zone you are in, but I would love to chat with you and maybe start moving it to the next level.
okay. All right. Well,
So
thank
Karen,
you all for joining in. Yes, Henry.
I saw you yesterday in our writers group. You're here today. Tomorrow we're working on my book. Will you leave me alone on Saturday?
Please, please.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. I'm looking forward
Yes.
to the recording so I can see what I missed.
And
Yes.
if you want a really fun book, when Henry's book is out, it's called My Shrink Made Me Write This, and it's really fun. So, yeah, we will talk again later.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay.
Thanks, Karen. It was very
Bye.
good question.
Thank.
And I didn't know that Grammarly was, you could get a free version of Grammarly, so that's good to know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it helps my emails. Okay, I'll see you all later.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.